Trump's latest lie. Victors on affordability. My grocery bill begs to differ. You Orange Con. Artist. By Santiago D.C. Maria, November 08. 2025. Listen up, because I'm only saying this once. Donald J. Trump stood in front of cameras yesterday and had the straight-up nerve to call his dumpster fire economy a victory on affordability. Victory for who? His billionaire buddies who just got another tax cut, while the rest of us are eating ramen 3 nights a week. Give me a goddamn break. The man actually said, out loud, with that weird orange makeup cracking at the corners, "We are the victors on affordability." Victors. Like he just stormed Normandy instead of storming the treasury and handing it to his golf buddies. Meanwhile, my neighbor Maria in Northeast D.C. lost her house last month because the mortgage reset to 8.2%, and her giant grocery run now costs $320 for what used to be $180 2 years ago. But sure, Donnie, we're all victors. Victorious at choosing between electricity and blood pressure meds. Let's talk facts, not Fox News fever dreams. Eggs, still $6.49 a dozen at my Safeway on Alabama Avenue. Ground beef, $7.89 a pound if you're lucky and it's not the mystery meat. Gas in D.C. $4.12 regular this morning, down 8 cents from last week, which Trump probably counts as the greatest price drop in human history. Rent in my building jumped 18% this year alone. My landlord sent the notice the same week Trump was bragging about record stock markets. Yeah, records for the hedge fund vampires who own half the apartments in this city. And don't even start me on the jobs boom. The only boom I see is the sound of my bank account hitting 0 every 10th of the month. Those millions of new jobs Trump keeps crowing about, half are part-time gig crap with no benefits. My cousin Carlos works 2 DoorDash shifts and still can't afford the insulin his kid needs. But the Dow hit 44,000, so everything's fine, right? Tell that to the 1.2 million Americans who lost their homes to foreclosure since this clown took office again. Remember when he raided FEMA Disaster Fund to fly his fat ass to Mar-a-Lago for the 47th time this year? Yeah, that actually happened. September 28th. Hurricane Helene survivors in North Carolina were drinking creek water while Air Force One burned $180,000 in fuel, so Trump could play 18 holes and charge the Secret Service $650 a night to guard his golden toilets. FEMA own Inspector General confirmed it $14. $2 million diverted from disaster relief to presidential golf trips. But sure, we're the victors. This isn't leadership. This is robbery with extra steps. Let's break down exactly how bad he screwed us, because numbers don't lie like Trump does. Housing. Median home price in America hit $432,000 last month. That's up 42% since he slithered back into office. In D.C., it's $712,000. My friend Jamal, a teacher with 15 years' experience, makes $68,000 a year and can't even qualify for a studio condo. But Trump fixed that by checking notes. Giving real estate developers another $2.1 billion in tax breaks. Cool. Really helps the rest of us. Groceries. Food inflation under Trump 2.0 is running at 28% cumulative since January 2025. That's not transitory. That's permanent. The USDA's own data shows working families are spending 34% of their income on food now, the highest since 1984. But Trump says we're winning. Winning what exactly? The Hunger Games. Healthcare. Premiums up 31%. Deductibles averaged $2,400 for a family plan. My aunt in Prince George's County just got a $47,000 hospital bill for a 3-day stay after a heart attack. She works 2 jobs. Trump fixed healthcare by letting insurance companies deny coverage for pre-existing conditions again. Because nothing says victory like dying broke. And the taxes. Oh, the taxes. Working people making under $100K saw their effective tax rate go up 2.4%, while billionaires got another 4.1% cut. That's not trickle down. That's piss-on-you economics. But yesterday, this man, this walking felony factory, had the audacity to stand there and say Democrats are fear-mongering about prices. Fear-mongering. Brother, I'm not scared. I'm furious. I'm the guy who used to buy ribeyes on sale and now buys chicken thighs if they're under $2.99 a pound. I'm the guy whose kid asks why we can't have cereal with actual name-brand characters anymore. I'm the guy who watched his mother's savings disappear into medical debt while Trump added another wing to Mar-a-Lago. This administration isn't incompetent. It's criminal. They know exactly what they're doing. Every tax cut for the rich, every deregulation for polluters, every FEMA dollar spent on golf carts, it's deliberate. They're transferring wealth upward at warp speed while telling us to be grateful. And the worst part, the absolute worst, some people still believe him. They see the stock ticker and think that means their life is better. News flash. Your 401k going up 12% doesn't mean shit when your rent went up 22% and your groceries 28%. That's not winning. That's getting played. Trump says we're the envy of the world. Really? Germany has $1.89 gas. France has universal health care that costs less than my monthly Metro card. Japan has groceries that haven't doubled in price. But we're the envy of who? North Korea. I've been covering this grift since 2016, and let me tell you something. This is the end game. They don't even pretend anymore. They just lie straight to our faces while picking our pockets. Victors on affordability. That's not a policy statement. That's a confession. They won. We lost. And they're laughing about it on the 18th green. My grandmother used to say, "Tell me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are." Trump's friends are oil executives, crypto scammers, and Saudi princes. My friends are teachers, nurses, delivery drivers, and single moms working double shifts. Guess whose side he's on? Not ours. Never was. So no, Donald, we are not the victors. You are. You and your parasitic friends won everything. You won the tax codes. You won the courts. You won the regulatory agencies. You won the right to bankrupt America while telling us it's morning again. The rest of us, we're just trying to survive until the next election, praying we don't lose our homes first. But mark my words, history is watching. And history doesn't forget the guys who sold out their country for a better tea time. We're coming for every single one of you. GOP's epic faceplant. Voters spit on Trump's affordability fairy tale while he starves the poor. Holy hell, folks. Did the Republican Party just get their asses handed to them in Tuesday's elections? You bet they did, and it's about damn time. From the streets of Brooklyn to the suburbs of Virginia, voters across the country said enough. To the GOP's clown show, flipping seats and snatching wins in places that should have been red fortresses. And why? Because Donald Trump's so-called economic miracle has left everyday Americans scraping pennies for groceries while his cronies sip champagne on Mar-a-Lago. Affordability. The man doesn't know the word. But voters do, and they voted with their empty wallets. Let's cut the crap. These weren't just random upsets. Democrats swept like a hurricane, proving that when you talk straight about kitchen table pain, sky-high rents, grocery bills that could choke a horse, and health care costs that make you want to scream, people listen. In New York City, Zoran Mamdani, that firebrand socialist, crushed the competition for mayor by hammering home how Trump's policies are turning the American dream into a nightmare for working folks. He didn't whisper sweet nothings about stock market highs. He yelled about families skipping meals because SNAP benefits are getting yanked. And guess what? Brooklyn ate it up. Down in Georgia, Democrats pulled off the impossible, snagging 2 statewide public service commissioner seats, their first non-federal wins there since 2006. Alicia Johnson smoked incumbent Tim Echols 58-41, while Peter Hubbard buried Fitzjohnson 61-39. These aren't glamour jobs. They're the folks who regulate your electric bill, your water rates, the stuff that keeps the lights on without bankrupting you. Voters turned out because Trump's affordability victory feels a lot like a boot on their necks. In deep red districts, that's seismic. Even in Virginia, where Republicans thought they had a lock, Nicole Cole booted 36-year GOP veteran Bobby Orrick from the state house. 36 years. That's not a flip. That's a full-on eviction. Inside the GOP war rooms, it's panic mode. Trump himself admitted it Thursday, whining that Republicans lost because they forgot to utter the magic word: affordability. They have this new word called affordability, and they don't talk about it enough. He griped in the Oval Office, like some kid who just discovered broccoli exists. New word. Brother, families have been choking on that word since your tariffs jacked up prices and your tax cuts funneled billions to your yacht club pals. But Trump's not owning it. No, he's blaming the shutdown, his shutdown, and Democrats for making it up. Meanwhile, his own VP, J.D. Vance, is out here on X admitting the party needs to make life affordable or get judged in 2026. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene, that walking conspiracy factory, piped up. Affordability is a problem. My electricity bills are higher, and I'm worried about my kids' generation. Coming from her, that's like hearing the Pope curse. These losses aren't abstract. They're a direct gut punch to Trump's brag fest about the economy. Remember how he crowed about victors on affordability just days ago? Yeah, well, voters don't believe a lick of it. Exit polls screamed it. Cost of living topped the charts in every swing district. In New Jersey, where GOP gubernatorial hopeful Jack Ciattarelli got torched, strategists admitted they blew it by not tackling prices head-on. Democrats ran on it relentlessly. Hakeem Jeffries called it the connective tissue binding their wins. Heather Williams from the Democratic Legislative Campaign Committee nailed it. Voters rebuke GOP extremism, and the affordability crisis remains the issue on their minds. Trump's approval tanked to 37%, folks. That's not a dip, that's a plunge. And while the GOP licks its wounds, Trump's crew is doubling down on the cruelty. Yesterday, the Supreme Court handed them a temporary win, blocking a lower court's order to fully fund November's SNAP benefits for 42 million hungry Americans. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson issued the stay, giving the administration breathing room to appeal and keep those dollars locked away. This amid the longest shutdown in history, 38 days and counting, where Trump's refusing to budge unless Democrats cave on his wild demands. SNAP, for the uninitiated, is the lifeline that lets low-income families buy milk, bread, basics. Without full funding, we're talking partial payments or zip nada. Some states like New York and Massachusetts already started rolling out full checks after a judge slapped down the admin's cheapskate plan. But now, chaos. Recipients are staring at empty fridges, wondering if they'll eat this month. Trump's excuse: the shutdown means no money. Bull. Judges ruled last week that he could tap USDA reserves, $8.5 billion to $9 billion a month, to keep SNAP flowing uninterrupted. But nah, the White House dragged its feet, only moving when the courts twisted their arm. Even then, they appealed straight to the Supremes, arguing it ties their hands for other pet projects like WIC for kids. Crystal Fitzsimons from the Food Research and Action Center called it out. The administration had the power all along but chose not to act until forced. Chose not to. That's the kicker. While hurricane survivors in North Carolina still wait on aid from last year's storms, diverted to Trump's Gulf jaunts, millions of families face needless suffering, as one judge put it. This isn't oversight, it's malice. Enter Senate Democrats, throwing down a lifeline the GOP swatted away like a pesky fly. Chuck Schumer, flanked by 36 colleagues on the floor, pitched a clean deal. Reopen the government now, in exchange for a 1-year extension of ACA tax credits that keep health premiums from exploding for millions. Toss in a bipartisan committee to hash out long-term fixes, and boom, shutdown over, folks back to work. No one starves. It's a compromise, scaled back from their earlier push for permanent subsidies and Medicaid fixes. Schumer laid it bare. Democrats are ready to clear the way. Leader Thune just needs to add a clean one-year extension so we can address rising healthcare costs. Simple. Sane. But John Thune, the GOP Senate boss, shot it down as a non-starter, claiming it's unserious. Unserious. Tell that to the furloughed feds lining up at food banks in D.C. Or the TSA agents hugging their kids while collecting handouts in Florida. This shutdown's a Trump tantrum, plain and simple. He wants Democrats to gut the ACA, slash spending on the poor, all while he mulls nixing back pay for essential workers, the very heroes keeping airports open and borders secure without a dime. Democrats blocked a half-baked GOP bill to pay some feds yesterday, calling it a Band-Aid that leaves millions behind. "We cannot leave any Americans behind," one memo blasted. And Trump's big idea: nuke the filibuster so Republicans can ram through whatever without bipartisan buy-in. "We'd be back to work in 10 minutes, he crowed Friday. Yeah, back to work screwing over the middle class. Look, I've been pounding this beat for years, watching Trump turn promises into poison. His forgotten man shtick, forgotten, all right, forgotten how to pay rent when evictions spike 20% under his watch. The election bloodbath was a wake-up call the GOPs hitting snooze on. Voters aren't buying the lies anymore. They see the Walmart Thanksgiving meal shrinking from 21 items to 15 because prices are up, up, up. They feel the affordability crisis in their bones, from $4 gas to $7 eggs. Democrats won by meeting them there, not with fairy tales. Trump's not pivoting, he's pouting, but the pressure's mounting. Airlines axed 1,000 flights this week alone. Food banks are slammed, and with midterms looming, even his allies are whispering about course correcting. Vance gets it. Green kinda gets it. Hell, Vivek Ramaswamy's nodding along. But Trump, still tweeting that every price is down. Delusional. America, this is your fight. The GOP's defeat isn't the end, it's the spark. Demand they fund SNAP fully. Force that shutdown to end, and keep voting like your grocery bill depends on it, because it does. We're not victors yet, Donnie, but we're damn sure not rolling over.